Hi and welcome to Incider. I'm Deborah Halliday.
And I'm James Vickery. On the programme today, Deborah spends a spell behind bars at Bodmin Jail.
And Julia O'Shaughnessy moonlights on Exeter's York Road with some gorillas.
And if that's not enough, Jamie Muir visits a pioneering art therapy centre in Exeter.
But first this evening, Luke Bond visits a struggling youth music project in Paignton.
The Bit on the Side in Paignton is an arts centre set up to encourage young people to get involved with the arts, as well as promoting local bands playing original material. On the whole, it's been successful, holding gigs and activities on almost every night of the week. However, some local people are unhappy about this and have begun petitioning to have the centre shut down, which means that once and for all they may have to plug on the Bit on the Side. So I've come here tonight for a meeting to discuss the Bit on the Side's future. The centre's manager, Mark Wilkins, spoke to those who had come down to help sort out the problems that they'd been having. Many of them were young people from the Wednesday Night Rock School, as well as a handful of local musicians whose bands had played there in the past.
It's just a cool place. I love playing it. Like, well, the room, there's just, there's nowhere like it around here. I really enjoyed every gig here.
He told the group about problems they'd had with alcohol licensing, as well as complaints about noise from residents in the surrounding area. After the meeting had finished, I went and talked to Mark myself and found out more about the problems that they had been having.
Well, we've had a few problems here. The main problem has been that we were originally under the impression that we were covered by the theatre's alcohol licence as we were running a bar alongside our venue. And unfortunately, when licensing came in, they said that the bar hadn't been drawn in on the council's plan, and therefore we weren't licensed to sell alcohol. Thankfully, that didn't get me into any trouble because the licensee themselves was put over the coals for that. But what that meant was that we weren't able to sell beer at our gigs, which hit us a bit hard because we use the revenue from the bar to subsidise the work that we do here, to help buy this amplifier, for instance. We've had a few people who don't like young people hanging around here, who don't like change, so on and so forth. There's been a few complaints here and there, but generally it's not been too bad, and we've never had anyone arrested here, never had the police called, and ejected one person in 6 months, which has been pretty good. What we're doing now is applying for our own premises licence so that we can run this as the licensee ourselves and carry on. We've got some temporary event lists coming up to the end of the year, which will mean we'll do a few events here, and start moving on forward in January again.
So you can see from tonight's turnout that the Bit on the Side has plenty of support. Sadly, this support is paralleled by the campaigning of people who want to see the place shut down and used for something else, if anything at all. And whilst those people stand in its way, this place looks like it may have a bleak future. Back to the studio.
Unfortunately, since that report was made, the Bit on the Side has closed down, and Luke Bond, who was covering the story, joins us today. Luke, hi.
Hi.
Why did the venue have to close down?
Well, they had a night shortly after I made that where a few people who weren't actually invited to the night or part of the night turned up to start a fight. A few people got arrested, I think about 4 people got arrested, and the next day the police had the place shut down, changed the locks and everything straight away.
Oh, wow.
Is there a chance of a resolution for the venue in the near future?
Well, I know that Mark, who you saw in that report, and Ali, his partner, they're planning to relocate it somewhere else in Paignton, and they're also planning an open-air music festival for the summer, but they're looking for a venue for that as well.
Okay, Luke, thank you very much for joining us. Well, from the Bit on the Side to the dark side now, as we join our foreign correspondent, Deborah Halliday, witch hunting on the other side of the River Tamar in deepest, darkest Cornwall.
Just come out of the Witchcraft Museum, and I've heard a little story about the legend of Joan White, the witch from Bodmin. They no longer have Joan's skeleton on display, thankfully, in the museum, but they have the coffin. And I'm going to follow the trail of Joan's life story, and I think we'll go off into the woods now and see if we can find her grave. We're climbing high out of Boscastle towards the parish of Minster in search of Joan's memorial stone near the site of her burial.
peaceful Minster Church is tucked away in this little-known valley looking out towards the sea. I'm hoping the local gravedigger might give us some clues to Joan's burial site.
I'm not sure. It's possibly over there. No one really knows. I didn't dig the grave, and I don't know who did.
Graham King, the owner of the Museum of Witchcraft, inherited the dissected remains of Joan, who had been on display for many years in the museum. There's the little memorial stone just outside the churchyard. After experiencing poltergeist in the museum, Graham consulted a witch. It is said that Joan's spirit wished to be laid to rest. Joan White, born 1775, died 1813 in Bodmin Jail. Let's head out to Bodmin Jail. Joan was born in Back Street, here in Bodmin, within yards of the county jail, which was originally built in 1779. We are looking at a later addition. The Naval Jail was built in 1859 and now lays in ruins, a grim reminder of Joan's last months. Joan was said to be clairvoyant, and people would seek her services as a diviner and healer. Later on, as a result of a tooth abscess, she became very ill-tempered.
Arrived at Bodmin Jail now. Not the entrance that Joan might have come through, but possibly the same weather. We're going to get inside as quickly as we can and get out. There's our horrible feeling here.
Joan became involved in a large fight. She was arrested and sent to jail. She would have lived on a bread and water only diet, cited to be one of the worst in the country, and general conditions were no better than dreadful. Joan died of bronchial pneumonia due to the very poor conditions here in Bodmin Jail.
Afterwards, Joan's body was dissected and her skeleton placed in a coffin. Later on, her skeleton was used in a séance, and it was alleged that the lid of the coffin flew off and she started going around the room assaulting people.
That's enough. I'm lucky I can leave, and I'm going to.
Well, Deborah, you look pretty keen to get out of Bodmin Jail. Just explain to us what it was actually like.
Grim. There's a horrible, horrible feeling in there. To say the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, they jolly well do. Not comfortable in there at all.
Does it get many visitors?
They do, actually. Yes, the two brothers have bought the jail and are renovating part of it. The part that you saw that hasn't been developed yet really does have a very, very strange atmosphere in there.
But you wouldn't go back?
No. No, not for anything. I think you could see the very end of the package there. I was getting a bit...
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, it was definitely getting to me.
Well, well done for trying and having a go.
Whoa.